Louis Kahn much later. I was already an architect. It was probably 68, 69. I was helping Robert Ricollet at Penn University. He was a good friend of Louis Kahn. And one day, Kahn came up by saying that he was in trouble because he was working on this factory for Olivetti Underwood in Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. And the structure was already done. The structure was made by umbrella, octagons umbrella. And when you put octagon one by the other, you're left with squares. The building was quite big. I knew already somebody from Olivetti. They asked me, why you don't try to solve the problem? You are playing with lightweight structure. You can come up with something that can be lifted by helicopter and brought to the right place and put down. And that was like a dream for me. I mean, so I started to go to the office. It probably was maybe 10 to 12, 18 months, something like that. And for me, meeting Louis Kahn was the beginning of a metamorphosis, a beginning of a transformation. I learned from Kahn many other things. This was one, magic, or searching for magic. And the unmeasurable is the magic, is the light. So I started to learn, it's a little red line that connects the art of building, putting things together, with the art of creating marvel, stupor, amazement. The other one is, of course, obstination. Louis Kahn was an incredible, obstinate man. I remember I found him many, many times in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, still asleep in the office, you know, at his place, you know. Yeah, because he was working so late that then he was just sleeping in the office on the table. I'm not joking, it's part of this. And when you work together with somebody like that, you understand that obstination, sublime obstination, is the only way to get to the center of things. Otherwise, you stay at the periphery of things. Even music became architecture. Everything became architecture in some way. All the entire experience of life became architecture. And I will never forget one day, Lou came to my drawing desk. I was drawing with a pencil, and he watched the drawing, and then he watched me and said, "My name is Lou." And he gave me the hand. That was, for me, a great surprise. I didn't even know that in the American way, this was a gesture of telling, you know, telling somebody, okay, you can call me Lou. And I was asked to design the extension to the Kimball. My first reaction was never. I will never do that because I found that building so beautiful, so pure, so perfect. And the first reaction was to say, everybody, look, you just keep going. Just add more module because this is the way he wanted that building to be done. It was a bit too easy because it's impossible. It was a good idea for him to do that way, but not for somebody else. In this case, in Kahn case, what about making a light pavilion across the lawn at a certain distance? Of course, the distance is very important. We changed that distance, working with our client, maybe 10 times. Of course, you have to respect the masterpiece. But at the same time, you cannot put yourself in a position where you disappear because you are telling your story. When I started to work on the Kimball, you realize that those famous vaults with the famous silky concrete, it's a joint job of the engineer and the architect playing together. So like a commandant was also wondering about that funny little red line connecting technology with poetry. Because this is something, this is the secret, the real secret. This was also in some way my way. The idea that an architect is good enough to fill the size. You have to fill the size of the column. I still now do that. I still now do this with my finger and with my hands and say, that. And then if I'm wrong, it's only between this and this, but not that or that. We thought that designing another piece that repeated 80 times make the building, it was a good idea. It was a good homage to Kahn. The piece making the Kahn building is the vault. That building, it's Roman. The vault is coming from Rome. There's a kind of historical depth there. You have this sense of strength, massiveness, and the light plays to give those a shape, form. And this building, our pavilion, is made of beams. The beams are beautiful piece, well-crafted beam of wood, 10 foot wide, and then 100 foot long. The two buildings are very different, but you understand that there is a kind of common poetic in some way that has to do a lot with light and unmeasurable, if I can use the word of Kahn, because light is this sense of serenity, this sense of almost metaphysical sometimes. My life has been crossing Kahn all the time, yes. Kahn died when he was designing the Menil collection in Houston for the family, for the Menil, for Dominique de Menil and for John de Menil. And then John died. So Dominique de Menil took another 3 or 4 years before they called me. Greg is the grandson of Louis Kahn and came for a summer job for a few months, 2 years ago, something like that. Then we called him back again. We met your mother when she was very young. She is really the daughter of Louis Kahn. You know, she has that kind. She's a musician, by the way. So for me, Kahn is a silent master. It's not something to talk about too much. It's almost personal. It's more something, one of those things that you keep, you know, for yourself.